Hey everybody, it's Anne-Marie with Light Happy Life. I'm excited to be here today with Laura Charelle. So Laura, hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So Laura and I actually, prep for all of these interviews, I wind up sometimes taking a long time, and Laura and I just like went off on a tangent, which is awesome. We have so much to interconnect, even though she's a millennial and I'm not, right? But I think there's such a great lesson in her story and how she became tuned to her body. So with that, Laura, let's turn it over and tell us a little about your story.
Yes. So thank you so much for having me here. So I'm a leadership and wellness strategist, and I help empower active and busy women to gain balance in their mind, body, career, and life. Kind of how we talked about, like as women, we are just so stressed out. We're so driven by our to-do list. We're ambitious. We want to get so many things done, but there's only so much time throughout the day. So part of my backstory is I was just that girl where, middle school, high school, college, my academics were the most important. And I just strive to achieve. And the more I achieve, the more you then want. I ended up going to New York City for a few years after college. And I just noticed I was so stressed out, between commuting and working full time. There was just not enough time to be able to do everything. And I just found myself asking, if I'm this stressed out now, what am I going to do when I have kids, when I have a house, when I have a career? And I just was noticing, even in my early 20s, that my health was significantly declining. And I finally had to admit some truths about myself that I had just buried. We, as women, we carry a lot of shame and guilt around the choices that we make. And one of mine was over-exercising. So I, for 12 years, struggled with an eating disorder called compulsive overexercising, which I had never heard of. I had no idea that I struggled with it. You hear eating disorder and you think anorexia, bulimia, and I was just like, oh, I'm totally healthy. I'm exercising, I'm eating as well as I can. I'm totally fine. And then finally I was like, oh, it's actually not normal to exercise 3 to 4 hours a day and to never take a break. I was never resting. And so that was throughout school. And then that was even when I was starting my career. So I was in the state of mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion. And I finally had to admit to myself that something was deeply wrong. And I was essentially masking my emotions, and I was burying the truths that were trying to come forward. And one of them was how much I wanted to live in California. So I remember just thinking, oh, I've got a great job. I'm dating this great guy. I have everything that society tells me I'm supposed to be having, but I'm just not happy. And so I gave it all up. I left my job. I left the guy I was dating, and I moved sight unseen to the San Francisco Bay Area in California. And just within 3 weeks felt more at home there than I felt in 25 years on the East Coast. And that's when I kind of knew, like, okay, this is what's meant for you. And during that same time, I committed myself to actually stop running, because running was what fueled me. I was addicted to those endorphins. And the more I ran, and we'll dive into it a little bit later, but intense cardio exercise actually increases your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone. Yeah. So the more cortisol that you have in your body, the more stressed out you feel. So a lot of my daily habits were contributing to me feeling so stressed out. And so once I stopped running, I went cold turkey. I wouldn't let myself run. The last run I went on for a while was Thanksgiving 2012. I was like, you just need to focus on other things in your life. And it was finally like, oh, my body had been asking me for so long to just slow down, to stop, to listen. And that's why I'm excited to talk about a mindfully balanced body today, because it is just so crucial to how we operate in our everyday life.
Yeah, so I love that. And I love that your story, you can fill in the blanks, right? For you, it was over exercising. For somebody else, it might be overeating. For somebody else, it might be too much coffee, right?
Yeah.
Like you can fill in the blanks, and it's the same exact series, right? So it's like, oh, I'm too tired. I'm exhausted. I'm stressed, right? Something's not right. Like, and then you fill yourself with a whole pile of shoulds, right? Which we know that's a pile of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the exact same thing. And so again, we were talking earlier, like, I'm so happy you're learning what you know now. I wish I knew all of these strategies, right? To say, all right, what does my body need? How do I rest? How do I recoup? And how do I listen in? So what are some of the questions to start asking yourself to become more aware of what's going on?
One of the most important for me, because I will just keep going, is have I stopped and taken a break today? And
Pause.
if it,
Yeah.
yeah, have I paused? And usually it's no, I haven't. So it's like, okay, just even pausing, we're constantly tied to our phone, we're checked into email,
Yeah.
there's constant meetings. If you're commuting, there's a lot of noise. I'm more introverted, so if I don't get enough quiet time, it just causes me to feel so much more stressed out, and I actually just get more burnt out quickly if I don't take time. So that's like the number one question I'll ask myself is, have you actually stopped and taken a break? And then I ask myself, if I'm starting to feel overwhelmed and stressed out, I ask myself what my food habits have been, or even the beverages we drink. So too much coffee also increases your cortisol levels. Alcohol increases it as well. So it's like, okay, if I had too much caffeine, which means my body's just overstimulated, which means I need to say no to the coffee. Or, if you have 1 cup of coffee in the morning and all of a sudden you're craving it later, it's like, do I actually need that? Or am I trying to bury something that my body's trying to avoid? Because your mind and heart are always trying to connect with one another. And by being overstimulated or having wine to kind of calm down, you're actually not able to tune in. You're not able to feel. So really just asking myself, do you need that? Or, what's trying to come forward that you're not paying attention to? Right. And just getting kind of silent, even for 5 minutes. I tell my clients, especially who have young children, who have a hard time getting that alone time, go in the bathroom and shut the door and just kind of sit for a few minutes, and just really kind of sit there, which can be really hard during our day to day.
Even at work, right? Like that's.
Yeah. Oh, if you have a door on your office, shut the door.
Yeah. If you don't, right, run into the ladies' room, get into the handicap stall, just sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I'm going to just run outside really quick and just go around the block. Being outside in nature, that's another way to calm down.
Walk, right?
Yeah.
So I love the coffee and wine syndrome, right? Mm-hmm. So I've fallen trapped to it, right? Yeah. And it's just part of its habit. And part of it is just coping, right? And just dealing with the day. And you're right. Do I need a second cup of coffee, right? Do I really need that? What am I going for here? Am I trying to just focus through the day? And do I need that second glass of wine, right? What is important to you as you start to build your day? Is it just part of habit, part of routine? Am I trying to cope with something? I have no problem with wine for celebration. Like, hey, go for it, right? Like, let's not say don't
but every night.
Exactly. But every night, that's, why is this happening?
Right. Because wine can be really hard. I noticed as I was rising more in my career, I was networking more, I was going out for happy hour after work, and my body is super sensitive to caffeine and alcohol. So it's interrupting my sleep. So I wasn't getting the sleep that I needed. Alcohol actually depletes the nutrients in your body. So we're more than just what we eat. Our bodies are actually what we absorb. Yeah. So if we're not actually absorbing the nutrients that we're working so hard to get in the kitchen, our bodies aren't going to be able to function at the capacity, which means your brain then is just even more tired. Your body's more stressed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And it's all about mindfully determining what you want to put into your body and then how you want to feel, right?
Yeah. Determining how you want to feel, I think, is another great question to ask yourself. Yeah. How do I want to feel? Do you want to feel stressed out? No. Like, we want to feel really good. So what are those daily habits that we are doing that are prohibiting us from feeling that way?
Yeah. So one of the things you talk about, and I'm cheat sheeting over here if you see me looking this way, is that you talk about why living mindfully within your body will help you feel calm and centered throughout your day and effortlessly allow you to get more done, right? Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about that? Because it's this whole like mindful idea of your body and like the goal is calm and centered. Yeah.
So one of my most favorite things that I teach my clients is how to use the female body as their own source of power. So we as women have such an amazing, powerful intuition inside of us. We all have this ability. We just have to be able to tap into it. And as we discussed earlier, masculine energy versus feminine energy, and women in the workforce, especially when we're busy, we're trying to just do everything ourselves, is a very masculine energy, and it's kind of against our female nature. So just really tuning in and just getting to know yourself and what you want, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Once you are calm internally, you are able to bend time at your will. So you are able to expand with whatever you want to then get done. If your focus is that much more narrowed, you're able to get things done quicker than if you're procrastinating and avoiding getting it done. So just really being able to tune in and mindfully approach your life and use your own body as paying attention to the cues of, what direction you should be taking, and really just moving forward with that blind faith. That's sometimes what it feels like. It's like you don't really know what's going to happen, and we're controlling beings. We want to know what's going to happen, but just moving forward and knowing that, the universe is putting you to where you're supposed to be, and you don't have to put so much pressure on yourself. And once you kind of leave that pressure, you take the weight off your shoulders. You'll notice, if you're gaining weight around your middle, everything will just kind of alleviate itself, and you use your own body as your own source of power, and your energy increases. You have more time, you have more just excitement and joy about your day, and you're just able to effortlessly get stuff done.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Like, use your body as your barometer, right? Yeah. It's like, what's working here? And it doesn't matter what part of your life you're in, as far as like age, what you're doing, kids, no kids, job, no job, whatever it is, it's still going to come back to, like, we as women were designed this way, and we've used our cerebral ability for so long, like, to sort of help us advance. And then it's like, oh, we forget about tuning in. So that's such
tuning in is so important. That's why I was so excited about Mindful March, because it's a whole week of how to tune in, like, it's in all areas of your life.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. So this is the question I ask everybody at the end. Yeah. What is your secret to a light, happy life?
My secret is, I have a few secrets, if I could give more than one, because they all kind of go together.
Go for it.
Finding ways throughout your day to be in a meditative state. So whether that's either meditating, I try to do it before I get out of bed to kind of align my body and make a really positive vibration. And I also find cooking can do that. So if you're just kind of like calm, and then walking in nature is huge. I take a walk every single day for about an hour if I'm able to, and just really connect with the outdoors. So pay attention to the sun, pay attention to the plants on the ground, and just allow your mind to kind of just flow. And then you'll find yourself being in a meditative state, which is why I was so obsessed with running for all those years, because my body was actually in a rhythmic meditative state. And it was just something that I then craved. So once I was able to be like, oh, that's a state that I essentially wanted to be in, here's how I can do that. And my last is journaling. It's a way to let your heart just talk to you out on paper.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for your time. I totally appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And I'm sure we'll speak again.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Bye.